How you doing, Coach? Caleb from our weekly. In the starting the second half, you ran a small ball lineup consisting of 3 to 4 guards. Is that something you're considering to finish the season out, to start the game with, instead of coming in the second half with?
No, I mean, I think you put too much pressure on your team if you do it all game. But obviously, when we had our traditional center in there, he was minus 23 while he was on the floor. So we've got to have better play when we play with the traditional big. I thought our small ball lineup did a great job of getting us back in the game. And then their ability to get to the foul line during that one stretch, as soon as we caught up, got within 2, went up 2, they started going to the foul line at an alarming rate. And we had a couple guys out there with 4 fouls, and we're trying to do everything we could not to foul. But Michigan beat us. It wasn't a one-possession game. So I'm not going to, say that, it wasn't a 3-point game. It was a double-digit game, and they obviously, bunch of different themes. They came out and shot the 3 at an incredible rate. We corrected that at halftime. I don't think they made a 3 in the second half, which is incredible when they made 10 in the first half. We did a great job guarding the paint in the first half. They were 3 for 11 inside the 3-point arc. We led the game in rebounding most of the game, even though they have 2 7-footers. But we're 0-2 at home, and this is a league that dominates at home. You look at the record of our next 3 road games, it's like 2 losses. You go play at Indiana, there's going to be 20,000 people, 19,000, whatever Assembly Hall is. You go to Illinois, I already know what their student section's like. And then you got Nebraska, and they never lose at home. So we got an uphill battle in this league just based on home court advantage. I mean, there's zero doubt about that when you look at our league and what we have to encounter going on the road.
Couple minutes left. You guys are down 2. Desmond fouls out. You also have Josh, Wesley, Buzo also in foul trouble, for most of the night. In general, any frustration kind of with the referees from you with how this game was being called?
I mean, there is, but I'm not gonna say it. I'm a first-year coach in the league, So is Dusty, but it's just not worth talking about, to be honest, because there was a stretch there that we were not trying to foul. Like we were trying to be super disciplined, and they went to the foul line when we were way more aggressive early in the game, and there wasn't fouls. So it is what it is. There's no excuse. Michigan beat us. Like I said, it wasn't a 1-point game. Then I might have a different tone about that. But, they went to the foul line at boom, boom, boom right when we caught up. I think there was, 6 to 8 FTAs attempted in a stretch. And when we're switching under and they roll, I mean, that's not a basketball spot to foul. And there was 2 of those, which, we got a guard on a 7-footer. And he's rolling. But like I said, it is what it is. And Michigan outplayed us. Much credit to them. They had a great crowd. So they got a heck of a basketball team with a lot of talented players, and Danny Wolf's an NBA player. I mean, it's flat out become apparent. He transfers up and he's dominating, and so he's, the 7 assists for a 7-footer, 21 points. I mean, he's going to be in the NBA next year. So he's worked on his game and he's so efficient, 9 of 12. It's hard when you got a guy that just dominates across the board, rebounding, assists, and points.
Hey, Coach. You inserted Kevin Patton in the first half, and he seemed to be a spark off the bench. What did you see from him that really contributed and got the team going at that point? And then to your point about the home court advantage, if you could send a message to the fans, what would that message be?
Yeah, I mean, I'm new here, you know what I mean? So there's no message. It's, we got to keep working to build something, and it obviously helps when you win, and it becomes more difficult when you don't. But, Kevin Patton, we're going to need some of our young guys to grow. It's our first year. We have 2 guys that when we got the job and we built this team, Terrence Williams was a big part of what we were going to do. He's our one guy that's got Big Ten experience. He's a 5th-year senior. Matt Noling, same thing. No timeline. We have no timeline on either guy when they're back. And so, with those two guys not being available, when you build your team with a bunch of 6'6" guys that are supposed to be switchable, and we're playing small ball and we don't have those two, I'm shocked that our small ball was able to withstand their roster, to be honest with you. But they did. They did a great job. Kevin was phenomenal. Going forward, we're going to need him to play well for us. We're going to need him to continue to grow. When you look at Wesley Yates as a freshman, he didn't. I think he was perfect from the field until the last 3 minutes of the game. So we got a freshman and a sophomore that were really big in a early season Big Ten game. That's a positive. But I'm sitting here to try to talking to you. I want to win games, but you also have to grow your team, and those are two young players that we're going to need to grow as players as we look into the future too.
Coach, it looks like that you sort of replaced St. Thomas as the second ball handler with Wesley Yates, and I don't think St. was really handling the ball a whole lot in this game. Is that where you're going now?
Well, yeah. I think Wesley's a combo guard, so if Wes is going to be out there and he basically played flawless until the last 3 minutes. So, yeah, Wes and Desmond are going to be our primary ball handlers, and then Saint is going to be a guy that also contributes across the board. And, Saint took 10 shots tonight, and he made a 3 and had 4 rebounds and a couple assists. Played 37 minutes, so... But yeah, Wes and Desmond are natural guards. That only makes sense to have those two guys as ball handlers, and Desmond's got to do a better job not turning the ball over. The 2 baseline out of bounds passes, it cannot happen. And those were 2 costly turnovers in back-to-back baseline out of bounds plays.
Coach, with Desmond, he's such a focal point of the offense, so when he fouls out, the losses are obviously, you can see it. They go on the 10-0 run. Is there anything you can do to overcome that, or when he goes out, is it just you're in a tough spot?
Well, I think we're in a tough spot when we have 2 guys out injured. If Oregon had 2 guys out that were in their top rotation, we win the game. If you can pick any of Michigan's top 8 guys, if you take 2 of them out of the we probably win the game. But we have 2 guys. Injuries are part of the game, and so I'm gonna be perfectly. That's no excuse. So I'm not sitting up here saying we got 2 guys out and there's an excuse. But if you have 2 guys in your top 6 and they're out, and then a guy fouls out, now it's an issue. So yeah, to answer your question, Connor, it's an issue, with our roster right now when that happens.
Well, he talked basically from day one about your concerns about a lack of bigs on this roster. You go up against a team that has 2 7-footers. Seemed like you said, that first half, you guys did a great job in the paint. What was different going into the second?
Well, when you take away the 3 like we did, that's going to open something. You know what I mean? So you got to kind of, what are you going to do? You're going to take away the 3 or... and Gale was in foul trouble for them, and he's their guy that puts pressure on the rim. It's not a surprise that we have not gotten hurt inside playing small, because that's basically what we've done most of my career. I'd be shocked if night after night we got killed inside, to be honest with you, because there's a way to front, there's a way to dig in the post. Look, Golden's a great basketball player, and he has 11 points and 3 rebounds. We're going to look when they roll a 7-footer. We're going to give up a lob or a pass over the top. But I also think we're tough enough and scrappy enough to And there's going to be some bigs in this league that have really good games. But thus far, when you look at Biddle at Oregon, when you look at tonight, Golden, and when you look at Great Osabar, we've done in 3 Big Ten games, at least up front at the 5 spot. I think we've done a great job, not a good job. But we don't have any shot blocking, and then when our traditional centers, we need, we didn't get much out of Rashawn tonight either. And so then you're forced to play what's on your roster, which is small guys.
Must just with Terrence and with Matt out, and you mentioned you built this roster kind of around those 6'6", 6'7" guys. Seeing how much of an impact it's had, with them out and the impact on the rotation and the way you guys play. Does it make you think differently about maybe how you construct a roster? I know it's early, but maybe in future years, even in this program.
I don't think so. I mean, I think that if two of our point guards were out, then you'd say, well, we should have a third and fourth point guard. You know what I mean? So I don't. I think having a big is something that we've got to, when you look at our roster moving forward, we have some perimeter guys that have eligibility to come back. Although, we all know that, with the portal, who knows what holds tomorrow, the next day. But those are the guys that have the opportunity to come back, and most of our up front guys, their eligibility's up. So, that's going to have to be a focal point moving forward. I mean, we don't want to play every year without a true center. I mean, we need 2 point guards, we need 2 off guards, we need 1 guy that's a combo guard, we need 2 small forwards, 2 power forwards, a forward that can play the 3 and the 4, and 2 centers, and a guy that can play the 4 or 5. I mean, that's where the roster management needs to be with our 13 guys. That's how, it's hard in year one to put all those pieces together.
All right, Coach. You mentioned Desmond and Wesley as the on-ball guards. Where do you see Patton kind of fit into that? Is he more of a 6-man? Is he more somebody who you kind of just get him on the spot and let him shoot? Or
yeah, I mean, I think Kevin Patton's kind of a utility. Do a lot of all. He played a lot of 4 at University of San Diego. I mean, we play him way more at the 2, 3. He's got to improve his foul shooting, and he's got to improve his ball handling. But he gives us length. He is the one guy on our roster. I don't know what he had tonight, but he does block shots. I think he's down for 2, and one they called a foul on, which was another block. So he at least gives us some length to alter shots as well.
All right, last question.
Well, it's just a couple times now this year, against Oregon, you kind of think back to it, and tonight, you kind of just games slip away a little bit in the last couple minutes, and maybe you could have predicted that with a pretty new team, but again, going into kind of that road stretch that you mentioned, like, how do you get this team to be able to close games a little bit better, than they have been?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that, those 2 teams are they both execute well. Our guard play down the stretch of games has to improve, and, how does that happen? It happens through film work. It happens through discussions. And then it happens through learning on the floor. I hope that if Desmond's an inbounder again, which he might not ever be again, but if he does inbound the ball, I hope that he is alert and ball fakes and understands where the reads are and doesn't just, throw the ball and hope that the offensive player seals a guy. And certainly if you have a turnover on a baseline out, it's also the guy receiving the pass, his job to seal off a defender. So, I mean, I've never had a team not inbound the ball cleanly like we saw tonight. So that's super discouraging. But you got to be super alert when you're an inbounder. It's like a quarterback. You can't throw a pass in traffic, and so we've got to clean that up. That was a huge issue tonight in crunch time.
All right, thank you, everybody.
today's game kind of highlighted, you guys are young, but you guys provide a spark, whether it's off the bench or starting the second half when you guys are starting the lineup. How do you take today's game and, use it for future reference as the season goes on?
Me personally, I just use it as fuel, just to keep going. We had spurts in the game where we showed that we was right in it, easily could have won, but just probably like a lack of focus, I would say on my end, just a lack of focus, not finishing out the game as strong as I wish I could have or should have. Yeah, that's probably what I say.
I would also say I use this as fuel. You know, that was we knew coming in this is a big game, as are all conference games, but we showed that we could definitely compete. At one point, we were down by 15, but we rallied back, and I know we tied it up. So I just think we could just carry that momentum and just do what we did in those runs into this next week and so on later into the season.
What was it like preparing for and then actually defending their 2 7-footers, the 4-5 action they run? It's kind of unique, it seems.
It was tough. It was defending it every day in practice, just trying to find out different schemes, like how we're going to guard it, different ways to just disrupt them. And struggled tonight, but we just got to put that game in the past and just move forward, keep working, and just prepare for the next game.
Yeah. I mean, you can never fully accurately simulate 2 7-footers on the floor at the same time doing pick and roll with each other. But I would just say, you know, we put in stuff, we went over it a lot, and we tried out different schemes. And, you know, we just tried to stick to whichever one was most effective during the game. And there were stretches where we were guarding it well, and there were other stretches where, you know, they were scoring. So it was just about, like, making sure we were defending at a high level, which we didn't do well enough as a team to.
For both of you guys, was just talking about finishing out games, and you know, obviously this is a new team coming together. What do you feel like is sort of the thread between some of these games that, you know, Oregon, Michigan, where, you know, it seems like you guys are battling back throughout, and then it seems like in those final few minutes something changes?
Well, I'll speak for me. I just say me personally. That's just with me, like growing up, just being more mature and more focused to be able to finish games. But as a team overall, I feel like we just got to stay poised. Like not let runs affect us. Just keep our mind like where we are on the floor at the time, and just keep thriving off of that. Not necessarily get down or think too much about what they do. Just focus on what we do, and I feel like that'll be enough to change the outcome of games.
Yeah, I would just say from my viewpoint, you know, it's a 40-minute game. We just have to stay engaged the whole time, just close out games. You know, we've had a couple close games that we weren't able to, you know, win, but I think we can do it. You know, we're still gelling together as a team. We're all transfers. None of us have played with each other before, but you know, at this point in the season, I just think as we continue to play with each other, these can flip into wins with no doubt.
For both you guys, when Desmond fouls out, what kind of stress does that put you guys under on offense?
None necessarily. Took pressure. We didn't have well, I'll just say we knew what he brought. We knew what he bring every game. We knew we was gonna miss. Somebody just had to step up. That's really the mindset. Next person up. Can't think about it too much because we're in the moment of the game. So just like whoever had the ball was just trying to find a way to make a play, affect the game because we was down. So just finding a way to win. And maybe we didn't do it this game, but we'll be better next game.
Yeah, I don't think stress is the most accurate word to use for it because, you know, we're in a next man up mentality already with, you know, Matt's hurt, T. Will's hurt. So, like, we got to step up regardless. So just when he goes down, it's just kind of another, like, you know, just another obstacle in the game. I'm not sure exactly what the scoring time was, but I just know, like, when he fouled out, it was just like, all right, like, you know, we got to try to band together and still win this thing regardless. So, I mean, obviously Desmond's a great player. Like, he brings a lot to our team, but, you know, I wouldn't say, like, it's stressful, like, if he goes out. Like, I wouldn't say it's stressful when anyone goes out. It's just, like, you know, we got to keep playing because, you know, at the end of the day, like, it's just us as a team versus whoever we're going up against. So.
I'm curious, you guys mentioned what you did, you know, in this week throughout practice. You guys don't actually have like a 7-footer on the roster. How did you guys physically try and prepare for that, and you know what they were doing throughout this week? Like, what did it look like, and what differed once you actually saw it in game action?
I mean, we tried as best as we could, putting our tallest guys that we had in their position, just trying to make it like a real game, like not just coasting through it because we're not playing the actual players or they're not the same height or strong enough. Just being disciplined, things like that. Just trying to be disciplined as possible, honestly. Like, not get bored with it, because we was doing it every single day. Not get bored, just be mature about it, and just focus.
Yeah, I mean, to echo that, like, I think focus is the key thing, because as I said before, you can't accurately simulate necessarily 2 7-footers coming off pick and roll with each other, but it's all about being diligent, like every rep, just taking it serious like it's an actual game, because, you know, when the time comes, you got to be ready and just trusting what you practiced over the past week in preparing.
Speaking of practice, you guys are talking about, trying to create that chemistry, a bunch of players come together for the first time this year. You can't really create that during practice when you're in the game. You two seem to have a good little two-man game going together in the second half. Do you work on that at practice, or it's something that you feel in the game and say, hey, let's run this play now? How's that working?
I say we just play off a feel. We play basketball at a pretty high level pretty much like our whole lives, regardless if it was high school or AAU. So I feel like it's just like the feel of the game, like being able to play off one another. I feel like that's what makes this team special. Everybody being able to play off each other, and not necessarily one person having to have the ball to score. Like I feel like we showed it a lot. Even on me, he threw me a pass that I missed, easy miss. But like I said, like a lack of focus, just being more mature, finishing out games. But yeah, I feel like it comes easy when we practice every day. And we talk every day. So we're a team that bond with each other on and off the court. So I feel like that's like the main thing that just allows us to go out there and do stuff like that, like it's nothing. So
Yeah, I would definitely say, like, just playing with each other, just talking, just even the bond off the court helps on the court, and you could kind of see it when we're just playing off each other. It's just kind of free-flowing, balls moving around. Like, that's just kind of how this team plays and how we're built to play. So that just kind of helps with, just gelling and just keeping on developing as the season goes on.
Going back to how you guys prepared in practice ahead of this game, who was it that in practice that was actually playing the roles of Danny Wolf and Golden?
I mean, we have grad assistants. We have one that's like close to 7 feet, so he was pretty vital in preparing this week.
And with Wolf, what is it about his skill set that makes him particularly difficult to guard?
It's just I would just say he's versatile. That's kind of just a thing that's pretty important right now, just being able to impact the game in a bunch of different ways. And I would say that's kind of the main thing he does, whether it's driving, passing, shooting, rebounding. So yeah, I would say that helps him.
I feel like it's just his next play mentality. Like, I saw him throw some turnovers and do some things that we didn't see on film, and he didn't seem like routed at all. He just seemed like he was just ready to make the next play. Just him being versatile, like Kale said, he looked like he was able to do everything on the court. But I feel like us as a team, we just got to do a better job at defending a player like that, because I know that's not the last time we're going to see a player like that. So
They made a lot of three-point shots in the first half, and then they did not make any in the second half. What changes did you make?
I would say I started off the game, put us in a bad spot, gave up 2 threes. But second half was just come out there, like how we want to be remembered for the game, how we want to finish this game. We knew the reason why we was losing. We just had to take it away, and I feel like just our effort and energy just carried way more in the second half with not letting them get threes. But I feel like we lacked a little bit from letting them get dribble drives and lanes. So I feel like we just got to find a way to keep a good balance, and I feel like we'll be all right.
Wesley, I'm curious. You mentioned a few times needing to grow up, wanting to mature. You obviously didn't play, last year at Washington, and coming here and you're playing big minutes, and started the last few games. So what has that act of growing up looked like to you, and how's that been?
Just playing better, playing up to my standards. I feel like it looked like I had a pretty solid game, but I don't feel like I had a good game at all because we didn't win. So whenever we win, it's cool with me, but just not losing focus in the game. Y'all don't see it, but I see it. It'll be some plays. I might not be in the right position, might not be coming off a screen as hard. Just trying to make every possession count. And I feel like once I get that down, I'll have better results, and we'll have better results as a team.
That'll be it for today. Thank you.
Thank y'all.